What's up guys, Larry Chen here. Welcome to another episode of Hoonigan Autofocus. We're at ZCon in Colorado Springs. We got Ben Skillard.
Hey
here.
guys.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
This is your beautiful Z. Can you tell us a little bit about this? What did this start life as?
This was in a field in Oregon. We're from Oregon, but it started out in a field. Found it online, talked to the guy, drug it out of the field, and just started taking it apart in the garage and ended up dipping it. So took it down to bare metal and then started the process of putting it back together. And as time went on, I started making some parts for the car that I wanted, and other people started seeing them and said, hey, can you make those for me? And so started doing more and more of that, and it ended up taking about 7 years because I kept getting distracted making stuff for other people, but it's been great community, and now we're just making, old Datsun parts for people. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so your parts are so unique.
Thanks.
I actually had a chance to visit the website and just kind of check out some of the stuff, but actually being able to see it on a lot of the cars out here, and also on this car in particular, your own build,
yeah,
it's really, really cool to see. So I don't even know what to really call it. What's the style? What's the inspiration?
I mean, it kind of started out as a resto mod, but it's kind of more mod than resto. I mean, I kind of wanted to keep that original look and a lot of the original lines, but just kind of make just a little more, like between that, race and restoration, but also be a driver's car. So, you can go out, you can have fun. And, a lot of times it can be real expensive to get OE original parts, but a lot of guys want a clean look and a clean car. And so, especially like on the interior, we've done a lot of stuff that kind of gives it that stripped down look, but it really cleans it up, and you can do it, and it's affordable. It's not as, like trying to source old OEM stuff.
Yeah, so for just from what I can tell, it's the texture, it's functionality, and it's just the design. It's like a lot of straight, I don't really know. I can't really put my finger on it. It's just like your style.
Yeah, thanks.
Can we go over some of the parts that's on this car that you've made?
Yeah, of course. Just like right up top here, you have the inspection covers. These are on the side, are all aluminum. We redid the whole thing for the 280Z style hood. We have quite a few different variations of the grills. So this is all aluminum too. The grill that's in here. This is a 280Z with turn signal elite grill that we make, but we have 280Z, 280Z tall, with cutouts, without cutouts, 240Z, so we got all that. Bumper conversion brackets are in here. These are actually OE 240 bumpers that I welded up and bodywork powder coated them. We actually just released this front and rear bumpers that are aluminum that we're making now. They weigh less than 2 pounds each. Gives you that look.
And it has this texture.
Yes, this black powder coating.
What do you call this texture that you have on all of your products?
I call it satin, like a satin black. It's got a real fine texture, so that way it holds up to rock chips. You wipe it with a rag, you don't see these big scratches in like a gloss finish. And I'm hitting rocks and bugs and all kinds of stuff with this, and it holds up great.
So this is something that you make too, this air dam
Yeah,
piece?
So this is all aluminum too, and we designed this. This fits on all the S30s and comes pre-assembled. So we've got the splitter incorporated, goes back, ties into the cross member, splitter dams on the side, and then it wraps around, incorporates the grills and stuff in them too. Pretty neat piece. I kept having fiberglass ones break and stuff on me, and so with this, it's just been super durable. Even when we were out at the time attack yesterday, I went into the bank pretty hard, and it just held up pretty fine. It held up fine. There was no damage, and that's the nice thing about the aluminum.
This design is so cool. You're doing all of this in-house at your shop.
Yeah. So back in Oregon, I'm kind of the madness in my mind and coming up with some ideas. Sometimes we get some great ideas from customers too that are like, hey, I'd really like to see this thing. Can you make this happen? And so we'll look at it and try to figure out some things. And so that's fun too, when we can help a customer that maybe wants a thing that doesn't exist in the market either. A lot of it's just stuff that I've kind of imagined, and we'll design it and we'll prototype it, we'll test fit it, fiddle with it, and then we'll get it ready to help people with their builds on their cars.
All right, so let's move on to the back. Side skirt.
Yep.
What is this? I guess, is it a side skirt? It's not really.
Yeah, side skirt, side splitters, kind of what we call them.
Uh-huh.
And so Yeah, we have this style, and then there's a more aggressive style, similar to actually the side splitters that Kyle has on Insanity that he did, which kind of cool, that similar idea there. But yeah, this is a more subtle version of that little side splitter. Yeah, this one allows you to attach it to the car, and the only holes that you add are underneath. So if you want to take it off, you're not messing up any of your paint. So.
In terms of the styling, we'll move on to some of the more of the parts that you've done. But just while it's in my head, in terms of the styling, you come to these C events, you come to these meets, and then there's a recipe for the car, right? You know, you have the whatever swapped in L28, you got the Webers, you got some Panasports or Watanabes, you got some over fenders, then the car's done. Right? It's so hard to stand out now, but what you've done is you've actually made it your own. Like, Thanks. Really.
Yeah.
And even down to the wheel choice, like, what made you want to run these wheels?
I appreciate good wheels and like well picked, but if I'm being honest, I'm not the best at picking wheels. And so I was like, I want something functional, I want something that looks good. And again, it's a driver's car, so if like, you know, we slide this into something, you know, and I hit a wheel, you know, I'm not out $1,000 for a wheel. I can order, because these are custom made from Diamond Racing, and I can just order another set. You know, and so
this is incredible. Like the steel wheel look, it works so well with this car.
Thanks.
And it's I hate black wheels so much, but it works so well on this car, especially on a white car. It looks like a hover car, but not this car for whatever reason. It looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Part of it is because you pulled it off. You know, sometimes when you get a white car and you put black wheels on it, it truly looks like a hover car because it basically disappears.
Right.
But the whole theme of the build is kind of what really ties it together. And so let's move on to the back here. So you make these louvers?
Yeah, so that's a funny story, because I got asked over and over again if I can make rear window louvers, and just kind of as in general, I'm like, you know, I don't think I want rear window louvers. But I got asked enough that finally I was like, okay, I'll make some, but I'm gonna do it kind of with how I want them to look. And it ended up being that after I got them situated the way I wanted and test fit mounted, that I liked it so much I ended up installing them on this car too. So I was like, oh, I guess it's okay, yeah.
It's just of era, but it's modern, right? So
right. They're a little bit wider, so they come out farther on the hatch, and it just kind of it felt like it flowed a little better to me with the car.
And this seems like it would last better too than you know what we've seen on some older cars.
Yeah, I mean they're durable, they hold up. I mean, they're, you know, 063 aluminum, again with the powder coating.
And your logo laser cut?
Yep, on the top there, yeah.
Oh man. Okay, and this wing functional?
Yeah, so we can adjust this up and down, and, you know, depending on what type of driving we're doing, we can make it more applicable for what we're doing. So it's a pretty simple piece. I mean, like, we weren't the first to do it, but, you know, the aluminum black anodized hinge and the nice splitter support rods, you know, there's a lot of expense in the hardware itself, but to me it kind of makes it go, because you do get the nicer hardware to install what really is a pretty simple spoiler.
Can we talk about the bumper? And also, this is the piece that really kind of blew my mind when I saw this on your website. I couldn't believe, like, it seems complicated, but tell us about it.
Yeah, so the rear diffuser that we have, I mean, there's a kind of a little bit of a recipe of trying to make it fit around the stock fuel tank and have function as well as fit, but compromising some of the air departure angle, which we have had some of our guys do some track testing in Texas, and they were cutting their lap times down. So it works, but also you can put it around a stock fuel tank, which is big, because a lot of the guys, you know, don't necessarily have the budget to do a fuel cell and move everything out of the way. So it can kind of give people that performance part as well as the look that they're after.
That's great. And the rear bumper, is this something that you're going to make too?
So this rear bumper, again, is OEM that I cleaned up. We have the adapter or the conversion brackets, because this is a 280 to put the bumper on, but we also just released the aluminum rear bumper that you can mount to. It's slightly different than the 240, but it's really close, and we tried to make it so we could pull in the gaps a little bit more, so because most people want it pretty tight, and so we just tried to make it so that you could do that easily with the aluminum bumper that we're producing now.
It looks great, but we, of course, not skipped over, but we glossed over, or we saved the best for last, engine bay. Can we take a look at your power plant here?
Yeah, of course.
This is, it's very well done.
Thank you.
So tell us what we're working with here. What is this?
So this is a RB25DET. It's the Neo, and kind of just getting going with the build. I have no problem with any swap that somebody does. I think, make your car your own, but for me, I wanted to keep it with the Nissan, and at the time I could still get an affordable RB, and it kind of made sense. But I didn't want to necessarily completely change it from the way Nissan did it. I wanted it to be, comfortable, reliable. I left the stock intake manifold on, like you can see, and covered up some things, some vacuum lines with some custom covers and different things to kind of just clean it up, and did our own hoses and lines and just kind of try to tuck things up the best we could.
This texture, what is this, bed liner that you did?
Yeah, it's like a Raptor coating, because after we dipped it and we primed the whole car, then we coated the engine bay, the underside, and the interior.
You even did the underside of this?
Yeah, we did the hood, so that way, when you pop it up, it all goes together and hopefully looks intentional, but not like way over the top, and try to make it so we can still maintenance it and, swap out parts if we have a rough day.
So how much power are you making on this one?
We detuned it down to 350, but when we first put it on the dyno, we were over 400. I mean, stock bottom end, stock top end, we really just did fuel system, turbo internals, and the front mount, engine management. Pretty basic, RB setup, and we just wanted something pretty simple and fun to drive.
How bad was the rust when you say it was in a field? Was it pretty bad?
It was okay. I mean, I had to tear out the floor pans and the frame rails, but because of my height, I knew I was going to have to modify that anyway, so I wasn't scared about that. I mean, the driver's seat is mounted on the floor, and I actually reinforced it under the floor pan in the back so I could get the headroom that I wanted in it. And really there was just a couple other little patches. The big rust was the floor pans, and like I said, that didn't scare me because I needed to modify it anyway.
All right, let's take a look at the interior. Let's talk about the interior. You make a lot of nice parts for the interior.
Thank you.
So tell us about some of them.
Right, yeah, so I mean, a lot of the things that people notice when they first get in is the aluminum center console. This is for a 280. We got a little cup holder back here in the back that's kind of fun. I put it way in the back for, a coffee cup, so that way when I'm shifting, I don't hit my elbow on it. And, it comes up into the dash, and we sell these kind of as a blank, so you can kind of make it your own, like do whatever you want. And this is just what we decided to do for our cockpit here. And panels, like instead of the plastic underneath here, we got the aluminum one.
This is so clean.
And this is like quick release. There's a button over there, but you can actually pop that out, so that way I can get to my fuse panel without having to get like a set of tools out. And
oh my goodness, you make this too.
Yep, the door sill. These ones are the Skillard ones that we did for this car, but we sell them with a Datsun and the Fairlady cutout. And then even on the inside that holds the carpet down is we make those too, like right on the top, like around the seal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this, yeah.
Because those will rust out, and so that's actually stainless steel that we've powder coated, so you don't have to worry about them ever rusting out again.
And the door panels are so nice too.
Door panels, we even do the leather on the door pulls, so just kind of playing around with some of the organics. Hopefully we'll get into more of that.
Okay, and then the in the back here, so you got kind of like a roll bar set up here.
Yeah. This is just something personally for us that we did. But yeah, we put that in. The LED dome light up here, it's like this is basically a plate, it's pretty simple, but it really cleaned it up for us and gave us room for the roll bar. We have those, and this whole deck is specific for the 77, 78, but replacing all the, that fiberboard and carpet, we just wanted to clean it up back here, and really came together, and we've been pretty happy with it. So we got the heel plates too. I mean, there's not one on that side, but these are available in aluminum or black. And one of the things, because we drive it, so it gets dirty, so we actually made it so they can hinge up and have the quick release, so that way they're not moving on you when you're driving, but if you drop some change or you need to clean it, you don't have to actually unbolt the whole thing to get to it. So
Even this underneath here.
oh yeah, we did this too.
I'm so blown away. I've never seen that feature. I feel like every time I've seen something like that, you essentially have to unbolt it to clean underneath it.
Yeah.
Very, very well sorted car, very well done. Again, like I said, this style, I can't really put my finger on it. It's simple, but
Yeah,
it is. It's functional,
Yeah.
and it looks great. And I mean, I guess we're lucky that you got a Datsun because
Well, yeah,
so many other cars, so many other enthusiasts could use these sort of parts on their car.
Yeah.
Right? Like I could imagine, heck, A86 guys or
Yeah.
you know, muscle car guys
Yeah.
could use this stuff that's specifically made. I mean, how do you even measure this stuff? Do you use lasers? Or would...
Most of all this I did by hand, you know, with calipers and tape. And at some point I'd like to, you know, get into some scanning, but so far we've been doing it by hand, and then we'll get it real close, fabricate it, test fit it, make changes as needed so we can get it to fit the way it should. And because our goal is that if the customer gets the part, you can have a shop do it. Sometimes that's what needs to happen, but for the most part, you should be able to install it. And like, I try to do a lot of installation videos on the website, so that way before somebody buys a part, they can see how to install it, and then it gives them the confidence to be like, oh, I can have these semi-custom parts, gives my car a custom look, and it's something I can do myself. And I feel like it's really empowering and exciting to see people doing that in these old cars. So it's just awesome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for showing us this.
Yeah, of course.
I'm genuinely just so intrigued. I'm like, I see so many cars, I see so many things, and especially at ZCon, you know, we've been able to see so many awesome builds. But just you're creating this stuff by hand. You're making this stuff. You're not just buying a bunch of parts off a shelf and putting it together. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And then,
no.
you know, there's an interesting way to do it to make it your own, but you're legitimately making it your own. So cool. Very cool. Can you turn it on so we can hear it?
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
Yeah, the track day kind of
messed you up.
Gave us a little bit of a sketchy tire.
No worries. This thing is so awesome. Thank you again for showing us your build.
Yeah, it was, like I said, I just love to be around, you know, people like-minded, love cars, love people, you know, and I love sharing it, you know. It's awesome.